Hey guys, welcome back to the channel again. This will be a slightly different video from what I've been doing recently, as a lot of them have been NFL related. This one is actually RWBY related for those of you who have been around the channel for a bit. I've done a couple RWBY videos, including Crystal Match, which was a mobile game, or still is, and I think I did one episode of Amity Arena, which is no longer a RWBY app. And I did 2 reviews of some of the aspects of Volume 8 that were interesting to me. I'll be doing a couple more from Volume 8, some reviews and stuff like that. Similar to what the 2 or 3 I released before, which was a few months ago. However, this time around we are going to be talking about RWBY Volume 9 and what my hopes are, I guess, for the volume would probably be the best way to phrase that. If there's a lot of noise on this recording, it is the fan over there. As you can see right there, that is blowing kind of directly at me. So if you hear any background noise, that's all that is, and hopefully you guys can ignore that so that we can, you can hear what's going on. I will definitely re-record it if it seems like it interferes with how you guys are hearing me, for sure. But for now, let's go ahead and start this. Obviously, for one, you'll be able to tell by the thumbnail I'm posting, which I made like 2 days ago, is I'm expecting the teams that are not the main teams, RWBY, John's team, Oscar kind of being part of John's team now, Crow, those main characters. They're all obviously going to get their new outfits, but I want to see new Sun and new Coffee outfits. Sun, I think all he really needs is maybe a different color template for his buttoned down or unbuttoned dress shirt or whatever it is. I feel like Neptune will probably get something that is less long-sleeved. I think the cloaks will be off the other Team Sun members, and I think with Team Coffee they'll just have overall more stuff fit for hot temperatures as opposed to cold temperatures. Maybe something that more fits their individual styles but keeps them as coordinated as possible with the rest of their teammates. But that's basically all in terms of outfits that I can expect, because obviously Team RWBY, Jean's team, the Schnees will probably get new outfits. But that's to be expected. Next, a little bit more about what I hope to see too is more locational wise what I'm expecting. For example, we're going to start with the villains that are left. I think we're probably going to be seeing Cinder and Salem at some point in the beginning, maybe first 2 episodes, unless it takes place with Team RWBY, Jean, and Neo. I think if it goes that route, I hope that Salem actually knows that Cinder's lying to her, and she's basically just playing along with her because she currently still fits her goal of getting all the maiden powers and such. I hope there's some discourse between them as the season goes along. Maybe Salem completely annihilates Cinder at some point for all the lies. Who knows? But I definitely want to see some sense that Salem does understand what Cinder's doing, instead of her seemingly just letting her go off the hook, even if she does know what's going on. But that's all that really can be said about those 2. I hope we do get something on Tyrion and Mercury, who are going to Vacua, where the Schnees, Emerald, Oscar, and Renora currently are, along with the Schnees. I hope there's some type of conversation between the 2. Maybe they realize that they don't have signal to the other villains for that short, brief stint of time. Maybe they're talking about what could have happened, where they are, whatever the case may be. Maybe Mercury starts second-guessing his course of action of sticking around with Cinder and Salem, for the simple fact that it's obvious that they all of a sudden cannot locate them or figure out what happened to them in the simplest of terms. I do believe for sure that the other villains, which are Neo is basically the only other villain that we know of that's 100% still alive that can play a factor in what's going on. We'll get to that later. But yeah, I hope maybe Tyrion still goes crazy. Maybe he's the main villain for this coming volume. Who knows? And my hopes now for, I guess, team like the remainder of Jean's team, or I guess basically the replacement of Jean's team for now, as well as the Schnees. I hope with the Schnees they continue to make a positive impact on the story. They continue to help the heroes in whatever way they can, like they were nearing the ending half of the last volume. Whitley, I hope, continues to show positive, positive turnaround, and I hope that Willow ends up completely quitting drinking, along with what Crow did last or 2 volumes ago when he stopped. But that's all we can really say about the Sneeze in terms of those guys. Klein, I hope, obviously helps medical wise. With Weiss, or not Weiss, Winter, hopefully we see scenes of her actually practicing her maiden powers, trying to figure them out, whatever the case will be with that in terms of how much she uncovers. Renora's a bit tricky because you can't really develop their relationship right now, since they kind of agreed to be more on a what do you even call it? I don't know what to call it. Okay, well, I'm sure you guys get what I mean. They're kind of on a break of sorts. You can't really develop the relationship as a romantic one. You can still have them do like cute moments, maybe showing them more as a couple that's just in a paused type of time frame. Maybe get even warmer towards one another once again after being kind of divided the last volume and a half or full volume or something along those lines. With Emerald and Oscar, I think simply just make them come closer together through whatever the similarities they might have. Maybe feeling trapped, like, obviously Oscar with Ozpin and Emerald with the civilian side. Maybe get them to develop a bit stronger relationship or friendship, whatever you want to call it. And maybe that'll help them both develop more. Lastly, we'll talk about the team that will be on the island. Obviously, with Ruby, I hope there's some type of interaction between her and Jean when it comes to Penny. Whether that causes a breakdown of any kind is completely up in the air for me. I don't care which way that falls, to be honest. I just hope there's some conversation about Penny. I hope Weiss backs Jean up in that situation. And I hope the rest of them, outside Neo, obviously, maybe are a little bit split between if what happened was right, if there was anything they could have done about it, if they didn't have a choice. I hope there's a conversation between everybody when it comes to that, along with maybe a discussion regarding what they do with Neo, if they trust her. And I feel like if there is anything, interactions between everybody when it comes to Neo, it'll be much like the Emerald situation with Oscar, only this time it'll be Jean who kind of tries to make it to where they give Neo a chance. And I hope this is the turning point for Neo into either like a middle of the ground type of character where she's a hero, but there's some villainous about her still. Or maybe she turns full hero and we have 2 of the villains old cohorts. But with the introduction of hounds being part of the equation last, we might maybe see more of those to replace the allies that Salem has lost, if that is what happens with Neo. Bumblebee is obviously one of those things that I've been tentative about for the past couple volumes. I hope there's some scenes between them that maybe clarifies their relationship like there was with Renora. White Rose, I hope there's some moments with them to continue on with the Atlas arc, way of things. And I hope that Jean gets a lot of time with Neo to kind of maybe figure out some stuff about her, even if it's through sign language or through however Neo's going to communicate with him, most likely through texting on his scroll. And that's about it, honestly, in terms of interactions between characters that I'll be expecting. I'll be expecting, obviously, at least 1 or 2 new Grimm, because I think there's 1 or 2 more for every single new area they go to. There's at least a couple that are primitive or located mainly in that area that you won't see in other kingdoms. I also hope we don't get into like anything involving Salem or anything like that invading Vacula outside of Tyrion and Mercury. almost at all through through Volume 9, since we're surely going to have Volume 10 in Vacuo, and that's when I think a lot of that type of stuff should happen. I think Volume 9 should be mainly the fallout of the last 2 volumes, since the last volume took place within a few days. So this will be a good time to slow it down and allow the characters to actually digest and figure out what happened, and actually take time to, you know, devise a plan moving forward in terms of those in Vacuo, and then obviously the ones on the island figure out where they are and how to get back. I don't know where you want to cut off to where they get off, wherever it is they're at that isn't on Remnant in terms of the RWBY side of things. But if it's going to be at the end of the volume, I feel like you got to kind of split the episodes. Some have to be on in Vacuo, some have to be on the strange between world type of area that Team RWBY's on. My last hope is, obviously, I hope none of the good guys die in this volume when it comes to that. And I did forget one group, and that is Crow's group, because it's hard to tell how much focus they're going to get. If they do get focus, I hope there's some conversation between all of them. You know, maybe Crow and Robin starting off things with what's going on. Maybe Robin keeps him focused, keeps him from going off the deep end. That would be nice. And then obviously the Aesops and them kind of having a full conversation, all getting on the same page and figuring out where they should go, which hopefully leads them to Vacuo. I'm sure the villains will end up getting the Vacuo outside of obviously Mercury and Tyrion, who are already there. And obviously that'll set up a huge climax volume for Volume 10, much like it did for Volume 7 and Volume 8. Anyways, I hope you RWBY fans enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button. Comment down below your predictions for the next volume. I will be releasing another RWBY video that doesn't have to do with Volume 7 in the next coming days, that I'll be reviewing in spoiler alert type of fashion for the Roman holiday book that was recently released. Make sure you share with your friends this video. Hopefully you guys subscribe if you aren't already. Get your friends to subscribe as well if they're into RWBY or any other content, as I am a variety YouTuber and streamer. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Bye.